Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. Hey, I just want to give a quick thanks to one of our sponsors at Simple Programmer, which is Dev Mountain Bootcamp. You should go check them out. The link is in the description. They are a coding bootcamp and they can teach you web development, iOS development, UX design, a lot of good stuff. I get a lot of feedback from a lot of you out there that email me and have told me about Dev Mountain, so I decided to check them out myself. And I like what I found. I like their programs. They offer some 12-week intensive programs. They also offer some after-hours programs, which I know that some of you will like. So go check them out. You can see the link in the description below, Dev Mountain Bootcamp, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring Simple Programmer. So what are we going to be talking about today? This is my Pluralsight story from rags to riches, part 3. A lot of you have been requesting this, so I decided to do a part 3. We'll see how long this series goes. This is different than my series, my career series, which you could check out here because I'm following the Pluralsight thread. There's a lot of threads in my life, right? I could give you a thread on fitness. I could give you a thread on relationships. I could give you a thread on poker, on stock trading, on real estate investment. I do a lot of shit. Really. The only thing I don't do is watch TV or watch sports, right, except for yoga. So let's talk about this. Okay, so where I left off last time, I promised I was going to give you some cold, hard fucking numbers. So I'm going to do that here. Before I do have to plug Pluralsight because they're awesome, and I want you to go and check them out because obviously I want you to check out my courses. But no, seriously, they're just such a good value, right, for a developer. Especially, it's ridiculous. It was a good value when it was 40 courses. It's a ridiculous value now. It's insane. Okay, I'm not going to preach and keep on preaching to you about sign up for Pluralsight, but sign up and get the trial at least and check it out and check out at least some of my courses. Watch my courses at least, right, and give me some viewership time so I can make more money. No, just you might as well check it out, right? And they've always got promotions that they're running through me, like you get free gift cards and all kinds of stuff. So go sign up. All right, so let's talk about what was happening. Okay, so when we left off last time in part 2, I was creating a bunch of courses. I went through a bunch of the courses that I went, and I'll go backwards and forwards a little bit here, so you can understand what was happening with this. And I'm assuming that you find the story interesting. If you don't, well, just unsubscribe. I don't care. I don't know, whatever. Or don't watch the video. But this is pretty interesting to me. I'd want to know how this happened. So I'm giving you numbers. I'm giving you real numbers here. Maybe someone will shoot me because I do it. I don't care. What I mean is, like, maybe Pluralsight would be pissed off. I don't imagine they would be. Who cares, right? This is they did an article on me about being a Pluralsight millionaire, so I'm sure they don't care. So okay, so my first royalty check, I've got actual numbers here. I tracked this all. June 2011, I got a check for $4,977.18, and that was when I just had that Android course, which is pretty freaking awesome, right? That was pretty exciting. 3 months later, my check was $11,989.70. Wow, right? And I can't remember how many courses I had at that time. I could probably coordinate it with what was out there on that list, but it wasn't that many. Okay. Next, 3 months later, Pluralsight's growing at this time as well, right? They're growing gangbusters, and I'm also producing courses like crazy. 2011. December 2011, I got a check for $19,877. Totally blew my mind, okay? I'm like, holy shit. At this point, I'm making almost more money than my job just on the quarterly checks, and definitely as much money as my job with, if you include they're paying me commissions to make these courses as well, right? These are just royalty checks, okay? Then we go March 2012, check for $32,000. Okay, June, 3 more months later, $36,000, so it doesn't go up quite as much. September 2012, it goes up to $44,000. December 2012, it goes up to almost $60,000, right under $60,000. And by March 2013, it was $68,000 a quarter from these courses. Now, at that point, I had a ton of courses, okay? Let me kid you not here. So March 2013, I'll look on this list here. At that point, I had, it looks like a good 15, well, more than that, more like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, like something like 20 or close to 30 courses, like 20 something courses, right? I have 55 courses now. But so just to give you an idea. So what was going on during this time, right? And the checks kept going up. You know, I'm not going to go into some of the more recent checks, but essentially they kept going up for a long time. They've started to go down now, but they went up mostly because Pluralsight was growing. Honestly, I started at one point. I did have about 10% of the Pluralsight library were my courses. About 10% of all of their courses were courses that I created. Now that quickly eroded, but my royalties kept going up simply because they kept on growing like crazy. So what was going on during that time? What's going on here? Okay, so if I go back and then look at some of these courses, well, I'll just tell you, I mean, you know, I've talked about some of these courses. I'll talk about some of my favorite courses that I did. There's one course in particular that's my favorite course of all time. Maybe I'll save that for part 4, so you guys watch part 4. But one of the things that was going on was, you know, obviously I'm getting these checks, okay, right? And early on, even when it was a $6,000 check or $12,000 check, that's a lot of money for something really that like it didn't require nearly as much work as some of the other stuff that I was trying to do, or I tried to do as an entrepreneur. So this was like, okay, this makes sense to do. So I said, how can I do more of my time? Now, I couldn't just quit my job. Now, hindsight, I probably would have just quit my job, right? But I couldn't just quit my job because I was making a 6-figure income. I was making a lot of money as a developer. At this point, I was a pretty well-paid developer. I had a lot of consulting, right? I had a lot of money coming in from development job. I was doing well for myself, okay? So I wasn't just going to quit my job on this Pluralsight whim, okay? So what I said was, okay, I'm gonna schedule my life around this. So I was working a remote job, okay, and I would go and I would do my workouts in the morning. I'd go and I'd do my job 8 hours a day, and when I was done, I'd go and eat dinner, spend some time with the family, and then bam, every single night there was a point where I was living in this bed, what I call a bed office. It was like I was like in this 2-bedroom apartment because I was moving. I was in the process of moving, and I didn't have the time. I just had to go, right? So I'm working like every night, 4, 5, 6 hours a night, every single night, not watching TV, no recreation, nothing, just busting ass. And I did this for like 2 years, basically. This was my life for about 2 years, and I pumped out courses. And so at that point, I think in the first 2 years, right, if we look at this, I did like 25 courses. My goal, what I was thinking at this time, when I started seeing those checks, when I saw this opportunity, I said, you know what? I want to be the highest paid author on Pluralsight, because I know that the guy that is currently highest paid, K. Scott Allen, I said, he's got to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire, right? So I said, how can I do this with Pluralsight, right? And I already had a plan to do it with real estate, right? That's, like I said, another thread, and I was on my way there, but I said, I want to do it with Pluralsight too. So what did I do? So I said, okay, here again, trusting the process, right? I'm gonna plug my trust the process shirt, because you should get one of these. You'll understand why I'm so big on trusting the process. I said, what process? What can I do? Okay, that's going to guarantee this. And I said, if I am the author with more courses than any other author on Pluralsight, and I think at that point someone had maybe 20 courses or 25, or someone might have had 30, maybe K. Scott Allen had 30, okay? Scott Allen. And I said, if I am the author with more courses than anyone, I'll probably be in the top 10. And I said, if I am the author with twice as many courses as anyone, if the closest second place author has half the courses I have, if I have twice what they have, I will probably be the top paid author. Like, there's a 90% chance. If I'll definitely make a huge chunk of money, right? I should be doing at least in the top. I should be the top 1, 2, or 3 paid author if I do that. It's almost guaranteed. So that became my goal. So I said, I'm going to create more courses than any other author, and then I'm going to double the second place person. And I started shooting towards that goal. So it took me about 2 years to get to the point where, and I should have quit my job earlier, but I think if we look 2 years down the road, from when I started, right? My first royalty check was June 2011, and I remember my quit date, my freedom date was February 13th or February 14th, 2013. That's when I became a free man, quit my job. So if we look at that, right? So let's see here, June. Oh, what am I looking at here? February 2013. So my December 2012 royalty check was 60 grand. Okay, and then my my next one was 68. Okay, so this was March 2013. So between those two checks, I had made more than my regular salary. And that was what I was looking at when I went and told my boss I was quitting, is I said, look, I'm making more money on royalty checks than you guys are paying me, and I'm working 8 hours a day here, right? And he said, well, you're doing a fantastic job, and I love the environment. But I was like, no, I got to devote my full time to working on the Pluralsight stuff. So what I essentially did was I did my crazy thing for 2 years, and that, believe me, it was hard to do this for 2 years. And I think what I ended up doing was, in that 2 year time frame, I believe that I created about 25 courses is what it ended up being. It might have been 20 courses. It was a lot of courses for pulling down a full-time job. And I was having to learn. I was having to learn like crazy. I had to adopt a new method, right? Because what ended up happening was that I ran out of material, right? So I had to come up with ways to learn quickly. Again, I'll plug something here, but my 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly course, it came from that. It came from me figuring out how to learn shit so quickly that I could absorb it into my mind, understand it, and be able to regurgitate it and teach it to someone else. And that's what I ended up doing with a lot of my Pluralsight courses. And again, this is not like, I'm not just bullshitting you. This wasn't just some scam to make a bunch of money, right? I mean, obviously I was interested in doing well on the platform, but I was actually learning this stuff and actually teaching it competently. I was doing a good job, honestly, of teaching it, right? So if you subscribe to this channel, you like my style. If you're unsubscribed, you're not hearing me right now, so fuck you. All right, so let's see what happened here. So I don't remember exactly what the numbers were as far as, okay, so what ended up happening, let me see how much time I got. Oh, we're gonna have to go to part 4. Okay, so if you guys want a part 4, I'll do the part 4, and I'll tell you what ended up happening when I quit my job and what my schedule was like and what ended up happening from there on out. And that takes us, that should take us to the end of my Pluralsight story, is what happened with part 4, and then I'm where I am now. So stay tuned and make sure you click the subscribe. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss part 4. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.